The Bearcat Basketball Podcast is now presented by the Healthcare Management Group. Shout out to everyone at HCMG, and thank you for the support. Bearcat fans, I'm excited to welcome in my next guest. This former Bearcat great played for the Bearcats from 2002 to 2006 under Bob Huggins and his last season with Andy Kennedy. He told me he was flying into town. He's going to be here in Cincinnati for a few days, so we had to sit down and get a face-to-face interview so we can talk about his journey in basketball. I'd like to welcome in my guy, number 33, Armein Kirkland. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man.
Good.
So when you got out of the car, I was expecting the big fro, Armein.
Yeah.
But we got the braids.
Yeah.
So can you explain why we don't have that? I was all ready for the fro.
I know, man. The fro's been like it's took on a life of its own. You know, I mean, every time and I've never had long hair until COVID, and I just started growing it out. But anywhere I go, I mean, there's guys that like, man, I love your fro. Women, I love the fro. I love your hair. Old people, you know, doing this to me. You know, it's just, they love it, man. But you know, I'm headed to Vegas tomorrow, so I was like, I'm gonna braid it up for Vegas. So.
Oh, you got to be ready for Vegas.
Yeah. I'll bring it back next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, a friend of mine saw you in Texas at the bowl game.
Okay. Yeah.
And he noticed you right away because of the fro.
Yeah.
And I think you took a picture with him. I'm pretty sure you took a picture with him, and he sent it to me. And he's like, "Oh, I saw Armein walking from a mile away with the fro." So you grew it during the pandemic.
Yeah.
How long did you grow it out?
I grew it for about 9 months, 10 months, and I cut it because I was like, and then I regrew it. So it's been 2 years of the pandemic, so I've had two fros.
Okay, so this is the second generation fro.
Yeah, this is 2.0. Yeah.
There you go, man. So tell everyone where you're living now and what you're doing.
Okay, right now I'm currently in DeSoto, Texas, which is basically suburbs of Dallas, and I'm coaching high school ball. Is that
south, southern part of Dallas? Okay.
Yeah. Kind of close to Duncanville, which you may have heard of. Duncanville is one of the top schools in the country. Mm-hmm. And they're actually in our district. But I coach at Cedar Hill High School, which is 10 minutes from where I live. This is my 5th year at that school. So I'm coaching and PE teaching at Cedar Hill High School, and then I'm still running A-game athletes, my AAU program. So still doing that 13 years in.
Man.
Yeah, I know.
Let's talk a little bit about that. So what made you want to start an AAU basketball program?
It's crazy because my old AAU coach, who I never talked to, like after I graduated from high school, like he wasn't one of those coaches that was always calling me, and you know, even when I was at UC, he never called and he didn't want anything. He was just, you know, he moved on to the next kids that he was coaching. But I was playing overseas, and then when I stopped playing overseas because of, you know, injuries and stuff, he just hit me up on Facebook out the blue, you know, and this was like literally probably 2 months after I stopped playing. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I was like, I want to get into college coaching and you know, this and that. And he was like, well, why don't you start an AAU program? I could help you, you know, kind of show you, you know, how to do it or whatever. And, you know, that way you could get your foot in the door as far as coaching, see how you like it, and just kind of get a feel and see what you want to do with it. And so, you know, when he hit me up, he put the idea in my head, and then I was like, okay, cool. And then obviously, you know, you were instrumental in helping me because,
thank you.
You know, I didn't know really any kids here. And so, you know, shout out to Shining Stars. They, you know, you had your tryouts. I remember they were up here actually, at Seven Hills. And, you know, the kids that weren't good enough to be on Shining Stars team, I was like, I'll take them. Sure. You know what I'm saying? So, you gave me a bunch of kids, and, you know, we started our first team here. And, you know, 13 years later, I mean, people, they love what we do. And so we're still doing it, man.
And that's crazy because one of the things that we struggled with as an AU program was when we had our tryouts, and let's say we had 3 teams, so we were keeping a total of 30 kids, and we had, let's say, 60 show up to tryouts. There's 30 more kids that we were just going to have to let go. Yeah. And people would ask us, where do we go? Yeah. And I wouldn't have an answer. So it made it easier when we had to let kids go to say, you know what? Here's a great program and a great guy to contact, and
Yeah.
that was you. So it made for a great, I think, transition.
Yeah, definitely.
And we were doing it, and you were coming to our tryouts, so you actually would see the kids.
Yeah, it was perfect, man, and it got us rolling, and you did that for a couple years until I just took the program down to Texas for good once I moved back home. But yeah, still doing it, man, and obviously Texas is a bigger market, so it's a little easier to get kids playing and stuff. But I mean, I love doing it, man. It's fun.
Now, how many teams do you have now?
This year we'll probably have 13 teams.
Okay, that's
we
good.
We usually average between 12 to 15 teams. I don't have enough coaches really to get bigger, and I don't know if I even want to, because it's just more headache, and then you got to have good coaches.
Very true.
Yeah.
Do you find? So let me ask you this: do you find that? Do you build your teams based on coaches? So, for example, do you have a guy reach out to you and say, I want to coach, and you meet with them and you're like, okay, you're a great coach, so now we can form another team? Because some AU programs will say, oh, we've just recruited 2 great players, now let's go out and find a coach.
Yeah.
How do you do it different ways?
Yeah, I probably try to get the coaches. If we need more coaches, then I'll try to find more coaches. But you know what the crazy thing about it is? And just since I've been here, I got here Friday, and I didn't know how many teams we're going to have. At first, with the tryouts, I thought we were looking at 10. And then after I did the numbers and everything this weekend, I was like, okay, we're going to have 12 teams. And I only have like 9 coaches. But since I've been here, and it seems like it always works out this way, a former player of mine, she played at Iowa State, so she's one of the few that we had go D1. She just reached out and said, hey, I'm done playing college ball. I just work from home now. She's in corporate. She wants to coach.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I got one coach there, and then the guy that does our printing for our uniforms and stuff, he just texted me out the blue yesterday also and was like, hey, my son-in-law just graduated from college 2 years ago. He played college ball, I think, at a D2 school, and he's home. He lives with us now, me and his wife and the kid's mom. He wants to get into coaching. I was like, well, I got a 6th grade team for him. You know what I'm saying? So it just works out like that sometimes. Like, it's really like just God sent, really, just things just happen, you know.
And you're stressing prior to, though.
Stress, you already know. Because I'm already thinking like,
Yeah.
okay, how am I going to get away with coaching 3-4 teams myself?
For sure.
Because at this point, it's too late to tell those kids, you didn't make the team, we don't have a team for you.
You can't do that.
When I've already told them they're on the team, they've already put a deposit in.
No question.
So yeah, like you said, I'm definitely stressing. Yeah. And it just like that, it happened. So now I'm like on easy street a little bit,
Right.
Knock on wood.
Well, I believe if you're doing the right thing and you're all about helping the kids, which you've done it for 13 years, so you're about the right thing. I think good things happen.
Yeah.
Right? You feel like this person just called me, this person just texted me. They want to, but you're stressing. But I think if you do good things, man, just good things seem to happen.
It does, and it does, man. And even with the players, there'll be a kid that, a kid or two whose parent, how it is upset after a tournament. Their kid didn't get to play that much, and they're just mad. And, and I'm just like, look, I'm trying to help your kid, but we can't just give it to them.
Sure.
They got to earn it. And we're going somewhere else, and they'll leave, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
This is, if I'm not happy, I just leave mentality. And, that same week, it'll be 2 kids calling, same age. Hey, do you have any room? And I'm like, yeah, we just had 2 kids leave. So, I mean, and that's how it works out, too. Those spots are filled in a week. And it always happens like that.
Yep.
It's like, so that way we're not shorthanded, playing with 7 kids or something like that. Like, the spots are filled. So, like you said, but I firmly believe that, man. I've been doing it for 13 years, and we've always done it for the right reasons. I'm not trying to get nothing out of the kids, just trying to help them reach whatever ceiling they're at.
Yeah.
If it's maybe going to a D2 school one day, or if it's just making their varsity team.
Yeah.
Whatever the ceiling is, we're trying to help them get there.
And see, that mentality right there is, I think, why you've been successful in AU, because some people don't approach AU like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not criticizing the others. Some look at it like, I've got to have the best team in America. I've got to have the best team in this region. We've got to go win this tournament, and this kid's got to go pro.
Yeah.
And there's a space for that.
Yeah.
But there are more kids I think, in the boat of what you're talking about.
Way more.
And what we do. There's way more kids like that.
I tell people all the time, there's only 100 top 100 kids.
Right.
So it's like, come on. I mean, how are you going to go after those kids? There's only 100 of them.
Yep.
You know, so I don't even, waste my time, especially in today's, day and age with, all these teams and everybody's taking each other's kids and stuff. And then plus I said, if I'm going to recruit, if I'm going to actively recruit, I'll just go to college.
Sure.
I'm not going to recruit to have a good AAU team.
Right.
If I'm going to actively recruit and call kids like I'm a college recruiter, I'm going to go to college.
Yep.
So, I just, like you said, just get the kids that want to be part of our program.
Yep. So tell us about your family.
Okay. Well, my brother, it's just three of us, literally. My dad wasn't around growing up, so it was just me, my mom, my older brother.
And he was at UC when you were at UC, right?
Yeah. So we were 3 years apart, but 4 years in grade because he skipped a grade. So in high school, he went from sophomore to senior.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, I mean, back then they kind of did that if you're advanced or whatever. Okay. Now they don't really want you to.
So he's smart.
Yeah, he's smart.
Okay.
Yeah. So
see, they were trying to move me down, man.
They're trying to hold you back.
They're trying to hold me back. They're going to move you down about 3 grades.
Yeah, but yeah, so he when I graduated high school and signed with Cincinnati, he was graduating from Texas A&M in College Station. And then, so he had to take the MCAT, and then he got accepted into UC Medical School.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So while I was here, hooping, he was at the UC Medical School doing his thing. And, my mom, she's a nurse in Tyler, so she still lives in Tyler, Texas. Still nurses, still is active. I think she works maybe 2-3 days a week. My brother, he has a practice in Allen, Texas, which is kind of north. He's married. His wife's a lawyer, so they're like the Huxtables.
Okay.
He's a doctor. She's a lawyer. They got 2 kids, and he's doing good, man. Like I said, he was fortunate enough to be here. Pretty much came to all the home games.
Yeah,
got to see his brother play, and so it was good having him here.
Yeah, sure. What about your kids?
I have 3. So my son lives here, and then I have 2 girls.
How old is he?
He's 7.
7. Okay.
Yeah. He lives here. He goes to Fairview.
Yeah. Okay.
The German school
Yep.
over there, kind of in Clifton area. So he's doing good. I don't know how passionate he is about basketball just yet, but we'll see. And then I have an 8-year-old daughter and a 17-year-old daughter.
Okay.
So the 17-year-old is the one I had when I was at UC, my sophomore year, and she's a senior this year, which is crazy. She's graduating from high school.
What school?
High school. She graduated from
which high school?
Lake Ridge.
Okay.
Yeah, in Mansfield.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's graduating, and so we're looking at colleges right now. She's got accepted to a couple good schools, LSU, OU, Texas Tech, but
oh, wow.
Yeah, we'll just see.
Okay.
She doesn't hoop or anything. She's just be a regular student. And then my 8-year-old daughter, I think she might be the hooper, the athlete. So. We'll see, but yeah, I got those 3, man. So my girls are down there with me in Dallas area, and then my son's up here. So I try to make it up here at least 3 times a year. Then he comes down there probably 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Does he know about your hooping days?
He knows a little bit.
Figuring it out yet?
Yeah. He's figuring out a little bit. I try to, when we're up here, take him to the school so he can see things. But yeah, he's it's way before his time. So yeah.
Yep, I get that. Tell us the origin of your name, Armein.
Armein, well, my mom's Persian, so my mom's from Iran, and Armein was a Persian king in Iran. So she basically named me after the king.
Oh, that's
old school. Yeah.
That's cool. I don't think I've ever met anybody else or I know anyone else with that name. Do you?
Well, a couple Persians, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not as common as like Mike. For Americans, but it's more of a common
name.
More of a common name, yeah, for Persians, yeah.
Okay, got it. So I want to start this off, and we're going to work towards your journey and start with high school and stuff. But you wore number 33 at UC, and I ask all the players this because some have a story, some don't. Why did you pick number 33?
It had a little to do with Pippen, because I felt like, my game was kind of modeled after him a little bit, my style of play, just kind of big guard, does it all. And then, everybody liked 23. That's Jordan, but
of course.
But that's just I couldn't be 23. But yeah, I like Pippen, so it had a lot to do with just liking Pippen and feeling like I was kind of similar to his game.
Sure. Did you wear that in high school, or was that just?
I wore 23 and 33 in high school. Yeah, I think
Okay.
I wore 23 my junior year and then 33 my senior year.
I figured it had to be either Pippen.
Yeah.
You got Bird, Grant Hill.
Yeah.
I know it probably wasn't Kareem. Kareem was 33, right? Yeah, Kareem was 33.
Yeah. Nah, it was Pippen, man.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
If I could have had one, I would have picked one, but I don't know, somebody took it or whatever.
That's crazy. So you wanted to wear one.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So Dermar wanted. It was Dermar wanted one. You wanted one. I wanted one.
Oh, okay.
When I was there. So Dermar and I were talking about this. They wouldn't let me have one.
Yeah.
Would they not let you have one?
I don't even remember what the situation was, but I can't remember. I can't remember if they said I couldn't have it or what, but yeah, I can't remember.
I think they fed me some. Being a walk-on, I'm like low on the totem pole, but I was told that Oscar Robertson wore number 1 in practice. So all of his numbers were like off limits. I was like, in practice?
Yeah, it's practice jersey. He wore it one time, so it's off limits.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'm a low man on the totem pole, so I was like, whatever. My favorite, I talked to you earlier about, you take parts of people's game and apply it to yours.
Yeah.
And Glenn Rice from Michigan was definitely somebody I loved to watch and pattern my shot. He wore 41.
Oh, okay.
So that's why
You were 41?
I was 41 at UC.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Which is an odd number.
Was Pascal 51 or something like that?
He was
Or that might have been
55.
Eric Murray. It might have been Eric Murray. I know one of the walk-ons was like a
Pass
crazy
was a
number.
high number. Yeah, he's like 55 or something like that.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. Yeah, he had that. Remember, he had that mohawk. He had like
Yeah.
So, hey, we're gonna go through your journey in hoops, but first, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor. And this segment is sponsored by the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Cincinnati. They have a new flexible bachelor's degree that will allow you to graduate conveniently and affordably, and you won't lose any credit or have to start over. By the way, shout out to College of Arts and Sciences because they have signed on to be a sponsor for our next season. So huge shout out to them, Lisa Holstrom. So big shout out. So let's jump back. You were born in Tyler, Texas.
I was born in San Jose, California.
Oh.
Yeah. So I moved to Tyler when I was like a year old, though.
Okay.
Yeah, raised in Tyler, Texas.
So is Tyler like east part of Texas?
Yeah, East Texas, yeah.
Okay. What's it like? A small country?
Small, yeah. Back then, probably 85,000 people in the city, surrounded by other small towns. So, definitely a football country,
Oh, yeah.
We had really good football teams back then, winning state, even in 5A was the biggest district back then, and we had teams from Tyler winning state. So they're beating Houston schools, Dallas schools. So it's big football area, and not so much basketball, but, I kind of helped put us on the map a little bit with basketball.
And the high school you went to?
I graduated from Tyler Lee, which is now Tyler Legacy. They changed the name. It was Robert E. Lee, so they changed the name. So it's Tyler Legacy now.
Because of Robert E. Lee?
Yeah.
They changed it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured.
Yeah. And then the other school, I went to 2 schools. The first one was John Tyler, the first 2 years, and then junior, senior year I went to Lee. And John Tyler is now called Tyler High. So they changed both the schools' names. Yeah.
So what type of player were you in high school? Let's talk about that.
Man.
Well, actually, let's talk about your evolution. I'm actually interested in this from freshman year to senior year.
Man, freshman year was my second year playing organized basketball. So,
really?
Yeah, I played 8th grade, and then I played 9th grade. So
were you always tall?
Yeah, I was always tall,
Okay.
yeah. But I played football and baseball 3rd grade on up. And didn't even play basketball in 3rd grade. It was football and, Pop Warner football, Little League baseball. And then I didn't even play 7th grade basketball. I played on the 7th grade football team. I don't even know why I didn't play basketball. I just didn't go to tryouts or something. But then I played 8th grade, and that was my first year then. So freshman year I was on varsity at John Tyler. We had a really good team. Matt Collier went to UTA. He was a senior. Raheem Hollis went to Texas Southern. He was a senior. We had 2 guys go to NAIA. We had a junior go to the Citadel. So we had 4 or 5 guys that, and we had another guy, I think he went to Middle Tennessee after he went JUCO. So almost everybody on the team was a scholarship player. We had a lot of talent. And so I was 6th, 7th man my freshman year. We, went undefeated in district, but I think we ended up losing in the 3rd round of playoffs. And then, so I was just getting my feet wet. The guys were a lot stronger. I was obviously talented, but I just hadn't played a lot of basketball. Even at that point, it was just my 2nd year. So I was still figuring out how to really play basketball. I could dribble, I was athletic, but I just didn't know really the ins and outs of basketball just yet. And then, so after my freshman year, going into my sophomore year, I remember, and I'm thinking, okay, all those seniors are gone. I'll be starting or whatever. But I guess my name got out there somehow. I never even played AAU at this point, and after going to my sophomore year, I remember my head coach calling me in his office. He was
What's his name? Shout him out.
Coach Love. Rest in peace, Coach Love. Yeah. He called me in his office. He was like, "You know who the number 5 player in the state is?" I was like, "Nah, I don't even know who the number 1 player is. I don't look at that stuff." And he was like, "You are." On Rivals, TexasHoops.com. And I was like, "For real?" And he showed it to me. And I was like, "Dang." And then after that, that was the beginning of my sophomore year. Then my sophomore year, I started getting letters and things like that. But, I was just playing just to play. I didn't grow up in a household where my dad or mom was pushing me into sports. It was just I always thought I was going to be a doctor or something until I realized how good I really was, which I didn't know until I got to high school how good I really was. So it wasn't like I was, some prodigy at a young age where everybody was trying to get me. I was good, but I was just playing for fun, really. But
now, when he showed you that you were number 5, was that something that motivated you? Did you look at that and go, "Man, I really got to go after this now"? Or were you just I don't even know what that means?
Yeah, I was more so I don't know what that means, I didn't look at it oh, I want to be number 1, I want to beat these guys. I was just I'm just hooping, having fun, because I didn't think
playing that long.
I hadn't been playing that long. And like I said, I wasn't raised to think that basketball was my life, where I'm going to be stressing about it. I was like, okay, cool, I didn't know the other guys that was before me. I didn't know who they were or anything like that. But it was just cool to just be ranked and then getting letters. I'm like, wow. So I guess I'll do this for real, And so sophomore year, I had a decent season. Me and the head coach, Coach Love, we didn't see eye to eye sometimes. And I was actually at John Tyler because I was in the IB program, which I don't know if you know what that is, but it's called the International Baccalaureate Program. You have to get tested in and things of that nature. So it's it's above AP,
So you're smart. You're smart.
Yeah, I was, a little bit. So because the school wasn't in my district.
Okay.
So in order for me to go there, the only way I could go there is if I was in that program, because only 15 schools in the state had the IB program. So, and I wanted to go to John Tyler. They had a better team. I was like, I want to go there. And so anyway, so after my sophomore year, I decided to go back to my home school, Lee. And I always lived in Lee District, so it was well, I'm just going to the school. I was like, oh, the IB program's too tough. I did it for 2 years, and so they kind of fought it and didn't want me to leave. But, the superintendent signed off and said, well, he actually lives here the whole time, so he could transfer without penalty. So I went to Lee my junior year, and that summer, sophomore to junior year, was the first year I played AAU.
Who'd you play for?
I played for Team Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, they were Nike sponsored team. Max Hill was on the team.
Okay.
Keith Langford.
Okay, yeah.
Which went to Kansas. Yep. Bracy Wright, who went to Indiana.
Keith always wanted to be a Bearcat. Have you ever heard that?
I can't remember. He probably did. I mean, him and Max played. They graduated together. They were a year older than me, so he should have came.
He loved Jordans.
Yeah. Yeah, so everybody did.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I read a quote that said he wanted to be a Bearcat. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I wish he would have came, but
he was tough.
Yeah. And so, we had a solid team, and then I got better that summer because now I'm actually playing against other people besides the people in Tyler and the people in my district. Mm-hmm. And so I got way better, going in my junior year, more confident, realizing now I started realizing how good I am, because I'm now I'm seeing everybody around the country, and I'm like better than them.
And now you understand that top 5 ranking a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly. And then from there, I get ranked in the nation and things like that. But and so my junior year was solid. I played point at Lee, and I had a great junior year. Junior year going to senior year, same thing. Went to ABCD camp. LeBron was there, T-Mac was there, Kobe was there, speaking. T-Mac and Kobe were speaking. Obviously they're in the league already. So, and LeBron was a year younger than me, which I didn't know he was at the time.
Isn't that crazy how back then? I mean, we didn't have access to information like kids do now.
Yeah.
Like you go to a camp, and I was at a camp where Kobe was.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was. I'm like, dude looks like Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's crazy to believe.
It is, and like Lenny Cook was there. You remember Lenny Cook?
I do. Have you ever seen a documentary on Lenny Cook?
I have, and some of the film was from when we were at camp.
So that was LeBron when he had the braids. At the camp. Yeah,
when he was there. With Lenny, they're going at it or whatever.
I remember that.
Yeah, so I was there, and even Sonny Vaccaro. They had. I'm sure you saw that documentary on Sonny Vaccaro talking about the shoes and all that type of stuff. They showed when Kobe was talking to us in that documentary. They showed when Kobe was at ABCD camp talking to us, and I'm there. I'm sitting beside Chris Bosh and Sebastian Telfair, and it was cool. Wow. But I remember that. But there was cameras following around Lenny Cook, and I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why are there cameras following him? But if it was in today's day and age, I would have already known because social media is so big. But back then there was no Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. So I was like,
Isn't that crazy? There's 6th graders now
getting ranked
that are so popular on social media.
Yeah.
And you didn't know who Lenny Cook was.
Yeah. And he was number 1 player in the country.
And that's
But I wasn't that involved. Like I said, I wasn't raised in
But I was the same way.
Yeah. So it was just like, I tell people all the time, like I didn't know what the NCAA tournament was till like my junior year in high school.
Now, wow.
Yeah, that's how far removed I was from like college basketball.
Jeez.
Like I just played, like literally I was just playing because I love basketball, but I wasn't thinking like I got to do this because I wanted to go to the NBA, but I wasn't thinking about college. I was like, man, it'd be fun to play in the NBA, but I wasn't like, it wasn't my life to say the least, And so when I did, I was like, okay, I've always heard about the NCAA, but what is that? Like, how do you get in? What is, I thought everybody got in, But once I had to start making a decision, of going to school, that's when I really started paying attention to schools.
Who's going into the tournament?
Yeah, who's going in the tournament, who's good, rankings, things like that. So, I had a good senior year. Coach Kennedy recruited me. So he saw me at ABCD camp, and I left there like the number 7 guard at camp. I had a real good camp, and then my recruiting just got a little bit bigger. And, I liked Coach Kennedy. I took a couple other visits. But the one thing that honestly sold me on Cincinnati was Jordan. I was telling Coach West this the other day when we ate at dinner before the SMU game. He was like, what made you pick Cincinnati? And I was like, honestly, it was the Jordan, Jordan brand. Because for me, it was like, I'm going to go play anywhere. It doesn't really matter. Like, I didn't know the conferences. Like, I didn't know what the difference was in conferences.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I thought everybody's playing everybody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really didn't.
You really didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know all the other teams in the conference that we were playing in. Like, I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? I just want to go hoop. I'll get my college degree, and I was like, well, I'll be all right whatever I do, basketball or not. But
those uniforms.
But those uniforms, bro, like,
those
and then
shorts,
it was like Carolina or Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It was like it's got to be Jordan though.
Yeah.
Because I want to be cool.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For
like,
sure.
And I didn't grow up wearing Jordans, like getting them. My mom wouldn't buy them for me, so I was like, I get them for free. Yeah.
Did when you were watching and you started watching the Bearcats, were you watching like Kenyon Martin? Was he a guy that?
Nah, I didn't watch till Steve Logan the year before I came.
Okay.
And they, I think they lost to UCLA in the second round.
Yep.
And I was sick because I was like, man, I'm going to that school. I want them to win. But before that, I didn't watch. Yeah, I wasn't watching it. I watched the NBA. I watched Jordan. And that was pretty much it.
This is crazy. I did not know. I've not met anybody that's at your level that just didn't have an understanding of the landscape of college basketball.
But you gotta think, like, I didn't start playing basketball till real late.
Yeah.
And then I'm in East Texas, football country.
Oh.
And my mom's Persian. She didn't grow up culturally where kids are going to college for sports and stuff like that. She's just like, be a doctor or a lawyer. And so it wasn't like ingrained in me. And I just wasn't interested in college basketball. There's not a college in, a university in my town.
Yeah.
So it was just like, I played football and I was like, I skipped college, just thought about pros. That's it.
Yeah. Do you speak multiple languages?
I speak Farsi a little bit.
Okay.
Not fluent, but yeah, a little bit. I can
Enough
understand.
to understand.
Yeah.
For sure. So did you always play guard? Because you know how some coaches are. The tallest kid has to play the post.
Yeah.
Did you have a coach that says, no, he's a point guard?
Yeah, I always played guard.
Okay.
Yeah, at John Tyler, I played the wing. So I played like the 2-3, and then at Lee, I played point. Yeah, because at John Tyler, we had a good point guard my freshman year. And sophomore year, we had a pretty good point guard. And so, I always played guard. I was always the tallest on my team, but I was obviously talented and had the skills to play guard. And then at Lee, I played point guard.
So, okay, then I need to ask this question of, if you didn't play growing up until later on, how do you have this skill?
That's a good question. And honestly, I worked on my game. You know what I'm saying? Just to be good playing in the park. Just to be good when we'd go to the rec center. My mom would drop us off at the rec center and I'd be up there playing all day, in the summer times. Or just, watching, like you said, Allen Iverson videos. And those commercials. I would go in the garage. Even though I wasn't on a team, I was working on my game. Like, I remember Jordan when he went for 60 and he's going between his legs on Bird and he shoots a jump shot. Like, I would go in the garage and be like, close my eyes and go between my legs 100 times without messing up. I wouldn't stop so I could do it 100 times. Go behind my back 100 times, walk up and down the street, dribbling between my legs. And I just had a natural coordination. But I just wanted to be good. Like, I would go play with older guys. I see them go behind their back, finish with their left or right hand. I would go do that. I'd be outside by myself, just working on my left or dribbling the ball just because I wanted to be good at it, for no other reason than that. And I tell people all the time, like, at that time, I was doing it just because I wanted to be good. I didn't realize I was training myself.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about it like, I got to get better. I was just thinking like, I want to be able to do what I see other people doing. Sure. I want to be able to do why can't I do what Iverson does?
Right.
So I would go work on it. And I just got good at it. I was blessed enough to, to have the coordination to be able to do those things.
Yeah, you're imitating what you see.
Yeah, that's it.
Isn't it fascinating though? You get, and you're in the AU world like me, and you get so many people parents that are so caught up in, my son has to do this, and this, and this to be great. And you turn out to be a great high school basketball player, really not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
For a large part of it. Would you agree with that? Like, you're just out there just imitating and
never had a trainer, never had no skills trainer, never in high school had no skills trainer, nothing like that. I would just go out and I was like, I'm not good with my left hand. Let me just go work on my left hand so I get good at it. So if I would have had what some of these kids have, I probably would came out of high school, went straight to the league. If I'd have been playing since second, third grade or whatever. Honestly, but I didn't. But that's here or there. But like you said, a lot of parents, unfortunately, they don't understand that their kids have limits as well. Yeah. It's just like, when Kyrie Irving, for example, when he was in ninth grade, whatever he does in an hour, you may not be able to get it with 10 hours of work. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you show him a new drill or whatever the case may be, because he's so coordinated, he could pick it up in an hour, which somebody else, you could put in way more work than him, but you'll never be able to get it because it doesn't work like that. Everybody's not capable of, no matter how hard you work. And it sucks to say that. And I hate when, guys like Kevin Durant, they'll go speak to a bunch of kids and, you see I came from nowhere. You could do what I do. It's like, no, they can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care how hard they work.
He's special.
Yeah, it's like you can't teach that. It's just everybody's not capable of being, first of all, genetically, you got to have that lottery ticket, being 6'11" or whatever. And then just that coordination, And I give an example of Shaq a lot too. Like, don't you think Shaq had the best free throw coaches ever? Don't you think he probably shot more free throws than Steph Curry?
Yeah.
But why can he still not make them?
Right.
Because he doesn't have that natural coordination. But does he work on it? Yes, he does. But that's just a proven example of no matter what you have, even you got the best in the world, everybody's not capable of doing these things. Because it's just a natural coordination that's either you have it or you don't.
Yeah.
And so luckily, like, I had it when it comes to dribbling and stuff. And especially now I'm working with kids, I see it.
Yeah.
I was like, man, they just don't have it. They don't understand how to move with their feet and body and all that stuff. Like, and it is what it is. But, you know, parents need to understand that and just let the kids just, you know, whatever their ceiling is, just let them do that, you know, be okay with it.
Yeah. And you have, and you've always had the height. Are you the tallest one in your family?
Yeah. My brother.
Because I remember your brother was.
Yeah, he's about 6'5", 6'4". Yeah. But he didn't practice on his game, so
yeah,
you know, he played video games.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think part of it too, or I mean, I was talking to a parent the other day, and this parent wants his son to play college basketball so bad.
Yeah.
The parent wants it. Now, to the parent's credit, he wants it because he knows his son wants it.
Okay.
So he wants it as much, right?
Yeah.
So the dad calls me, and the dad's like, did he send you this? Did he send you that? Is he doing this? Blah, blah. And I said to him, I said, stop. I said, listen, your son has texted me every day for the last 2 weeks. He wants it. I was like, let him, if he wants it bad enough, he'll go get it.
Yeah.
And he'll go get it done. If he doesn't get it done, he didn't want it bad enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let him, and the dad was like really, really freaking out. So, and we can go on and on about stories with stuff like, and finally the parent was like, I get it, all back. But the kid he wants it so bad. You don't even have to.
And that's rare. I mean, as you know, that's rare
is.
for a kid to want it as bad or as equal as a parent does. Usually it's just the parent wants it 10 times more than the kid does.
No question.
It's like you want your kid to be Steph Curry, but your kid doesn't even want to practice.
Yes.
You know, so how's that going to, you know, work out?
And I get it. I get it from a standpoint, when you're a parent, okay, unlike a coach or a teacher and a teacher only sees your child for short bursts in the day.
Yeah.
You see your child all the time. You've seen your child from birth to whatever age, so you know what your son or daughter is capable of. So you want them to reach that height, right? You know that they're capable of this. And I think that's where parents get caught up. They see what their child could do, and they're like, he or she's not doing it. And I'm like, they got to discover it.
Yeah, well, also, they don't understand that there's a difference between being able to do something and being able to do something consistently. Because they'll see their kid make 3 threes in one game, and they'll be like, why can't you do that all the time? Because they ask that question, why can't you do that all the time? Why can't? Because they can't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just that was like an anomaly, you know, that just happened, you know. And so, but they think that, like you said, well, I saw him, you know, make a fadeaway 3 and it looks so good. It's like, why can't? No, that's just not his game,
right.
You know. But they think in their mind they saw the best of him, so they think that they could do that consistently. And it's hard to do consistent. A lot of things are hard. I mean, even the NBA players, not all of them are consistent. It's hard to average 30 year in and year out for 19 years.
Yeah,
you know, otherwise everybody would do it.
Right, no
But
question.
It's been proven, you know. But you'll have some guys here and there that you don't even know who they are. They'll go for 45 a game and, you know, look great. But then why can't they do it consistently?
Right.
Because it's not easy to do it consistently. Everybody can't do that on every level.
Yeah.
But as a parent, they see that one time, and so they remember,
you
know, that great moment. And why can't you do that all the time? Well, the defense is a little better in this game.
Sure.
You know, your son's not able to get a shot off like that, and then he's just not that good. But, you know, I try to keep it real with parents to an extent, but you know, it's a fine line between keeping it real with them and just making them mad because they think you don't believe in their kid.
Yeah. So who was that person for you when your mother didn't? You said your father wasn't around, and your mother doesn't understand the whole landscape of basketball, correct?
Yeah.
So who's that voice for you?
Really nobody. You know, like I said, my AAU coach, I'm in Tyler, Team Texas is in Dallas, you know, so I would come up here, then go back to Tyler. So
How
I wasn't
far?
About an hour and a half,
Okay.
like going to Columbus.
Okay.
You know, and so nobody was in Tyler, and then Dallas is, I mean, it was so far, so it wasn't like I was around these people all the time talking basketball and all that. My high school coaches just thought I was great because I'm a big fish in a small pond, you know. So there really was nobody there that really just schooled me on basketball till I got to UC. You know, I was just out here hooping, man. You know what I'm saying? Just doing my thing.
This is fascinating because, Armein, I did not know this about your story.
Yeah.
I'm figuring you come in as, a top recruit, and you've been on the grind like other guys have in terms of what they've done to get to where they are. You were just hooping.
I was just hooping, man.
I did not know that.
And I told DJ and Dan, we were at dinner.
Dermar Johnson and Dan Horde.
Dan Horde, yeah. Shout out to Dan Horde and DJ. So we were at dinner. The other thing, besides the Jordan thing, I remember my junior going to my senior year. We were at the AAU tournament in Vegas, the Vegas Adidas Big Time tournament. And me and one of my teammates, we were like, let's play the slot machine to see what school we're going to go to. And we just walked by and we was like, okay, we're going to put a quarter in there. Just call what school you want out. And if you hit, that's the school you're going to go to. It's like divine intervention or something. And he puts his quarter in, or I put my quarter in first. I don't remember who went first. It might have been me. First quarter I put in, I was like, man, I'm going to Cincinnati. And I pulled the thing, and my quarter hits like $3. And this is before Cincinnati was recruiting me. You know what I'm saying? Before Coach Kennedy really got active with me. And it hit, and I was like, all right, I'm going to Cincinnati. And he put his in. He was like, I'm going to go to North Carolina. And, his didn't hit nothing. So I was like, all right, well, you ain't going to North Carolina. And but so it's funny then, probably like a week or two later, like that's when Coach Kennedy, this was like maybe a week or two after Adidas big ABCD camp. Like I said, when my name really got big from camp, Coach Kennedy got on me. I think he took Mick's job. Mick left, and Coach Kennedy got it. So it was his first year as well. And so that's besides that happened. I thought that was kind of like divine intervention. And then the Jordan thing, I was like, I'm gonna go to Cincinnati. So it was kind of weird.
Yeah, that is. So what? Okay. Well, first back to the slot machine real quick. So why'd you say Cincinnati? Was that just because of the Jordan?
Yeah, just because Jordan. The only reason I picked Cincinnati,
Gotcha.
I didn't even know who's on the team.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that following year, my senior year, is when I found out who Steve Logan was.
Leonard Stokes.
Yeah. Donald Little, all those guys that year. But before that, I didn't watch Cincinnati. I just knew that in Tyler and East Texas, everybody wanted those Cincinnati Jordan shorts with the C-pun, or everybody wanted North Carolina shorts. But the black and red looks way better than light blue. So that's the reason I said Cincinnati and pulled the slot machine.
Gotcha. And then so Andy Kennedy started recruiting. Who were some of the other schools that were recruiting you?
I took a visit to OU, U of H, Baylor, Texas. I took an unofficial to SMU. And I was supposed to take one at Texas Tech, but I committed with Bobby Knight, but I committed to UC. So it was really like, Arkansas was recruiting me hard. Nolan Richardson.
You've got all these Southern schools, but you just needed to get away.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did. Virginia recruited me, but I didn't want to go to Virginia. Carolina did recruit me at the end, closer to when I was about to make my decision, Coach Doherty, and they weren't very good at that year either. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know that,
he was only there for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
That was that little,
Yeah, so he was the one that was recruiting me though, and I didn't even think they made the tournament that year.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get away. I wanted to get away from Texas. Just like I said, I'm from Tyler, East Texas. I was like, man, I gotta go to a bigger city. I want to get away and have fun, like just do my own thing. So.
And the Bearcats have always had a great pipeline from the state of Texas.
Definitely. I was saying that when I was here, we used to call it the University of Texas in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because my sophomore year, I think it was me, Field Williams, Jason Maxill, Jamal Lucas, Nick Williams.
Yep.
I think that might have been it. So it was 5 of us.
Yep.
Phil, Jason.
Yep, you made 5.
Yeah, it was 5 out of 12 guys.
Yep.
From Texas.
Crazy. And then prior to you, DeJuan Baker.
Yeah.
Kenyon Martin.
Yeah. So he's always, I guess, recruited out of Texas. And then, but my year we had 5 out of 12 guys. So it was crazy. So
IMAC, right?
Emmanuel McElroy. He went to Tyler Junior College.
Did he really?
So I saw him. I love Mac's game. I was in high school watching him play at JUCO.
Bulldog, boy.
Yeah, super athlete. Get by you, dunk on you. Yeah, I liked IMAC's game.
Yeah, no question. Hugs love Texas, and I tell you what, it turned out really well.
Yeah.
All the Texas guys that have played for the Bearcats.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, all the ones you named were. There were no
good
duds
players.
there.
Yeah.
No duds.
No flops. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I want to jump into your Bearcat career. I know
Okay.
this is a good lead up to that. So I know a lot of the Bearcat fans know your Bearcat career, but how you got there, I think, is always interesting for people to hear. The Bearcat Basketball Podcast is now presented by the Healthcare Management Group. Shout out to everyone at HCMG, and thank you for the support. So looking at your freshman year, 2002, 2003, you come in, 6'8" guard, but I believe that first year, correct me if I'm wrong, Lenny Stokes was the guard. So you were behind Lenny. Do I remember that correctly?
Correct.
Okay. I remember it was Lenny. Help me out with who else was there. Field, Max.
Starter, Max.
E was there. Hicks came in with you.
Yeah. So the starters were Barker was at the point, Field Williams.
He was from Texas too, right? No,
he was from Michigan or somewhere.
He's from E. Okay.
Somewhere Midwest.
Yeah, you're right. My bad.
So Barker was at the point, Field at the 2, Stokes was at the 3, Max at the 4, and then we had like an alternating 5 between Holman, Kareem Johnson, and
Big Jabber.
It was supposed to be Donald Little senior year, so that would have been him, but whatever happened, he wasn't eligible. Yeah,
we've discussed that on his podcast.
It was kind of like a rotation of those guys. So I was pretty much behind the Field and Barker, just in that rotation. I was probably the first guard off the bench, until the end of the season. Actually, so I had a decent freshman year, just learning the game, learning how to rotate on defense, how to use screens on offense. Because high school I was just beating guys with athleticism and speed and being stronger. But now I'm having to learn how to use screens, how to come off screens, rotating on defense. I learned a lot. I tell people all the time I learned a lot from Hug. So just how to play basketball.
But I think someone like you learn quicker than others because of your high IQ already coming. You're a high IQ guy.
Yeah.
So the learning curve is a little smaller than maybe some other guys.
Yeah. No, I picked it up pretty quickly. And so by the end of my freshman year, I was pretty much starting or played starters minutes like the last 10 games of conference. I had some really good games. And actually in the tournament, so we lost to Gonzaga. I was second in scoring, first in rebound, first in block shots on the stat sheet, against Gonzaga. I had like 11 or 12 points. I think Stokes might have had 15 or Bob at one of them, and I was second. And I had 8 rebounds. I had a good game. Had to guard Ronnie Turioff because he started me at the 4 or 5. So me and Max, we were playing a lot. So because of my size, I was guarding 4s or 5s, but on the offensive end, they couldn't guard me. Yeah. So I kind of worked my way up in the starters minutes by the end of my freshman year. And it was decent. I'm still learning. I remember we were sitting down for the selection Sunday, and that was still new to me. Like I said, now I know we got to go to the tournament, but I didn't know that they had a process for it. Now I just knew that you got to be good to go, but I didn't know that there was like a committee picking teams. So just sitting there, I'm like,
this is amazing. That you didn't know all this.
But afterwards, now I'm like, oh, that's why coach is getting so mad after these games and shit, because RPI, I didn't know nothing about that. It's like he's scared we're gonna not make it and stuff. I just thought we're a good team, they're gonna put us in. So selection Sunday was weird to me, like waiting to get picked and all that. It was like, damn, I didn't know this process. Even to that day. So I was still, like I said, just hooping, man. And then so sophomore year, starter. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I want to jump back to that freshman year. So from high school, you averaged how many points your senior year of high school?
Probably 21.
So you go from averaging 21 points a game in high school to your freshman year at UC averaging 3.4 points a game. Was that tough on you?
Not really, because I was more of kind of like a point guard, pass first guy. Like points really didn't matter to me. Okay. I just wanted to play well.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I would shoot when I'm open. If I didn't, I remember people all the time would tell me like, man, you got to shoot more. Like you're not doing enough. You got to score the ball more. Like people on the street, everybody, coaches. But I'm just like, I just kind of played. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't like I got to be the man and stuff. Right. I just played. But I felt like, okay, when it's time for me to take over something, I had to do that. But I wasn't like a scorer's mentality type guy, so it didn't bother me. But as like I said, my last 10 games of the season, when coach started playing me a lot more, I got more comfortable and I was scoring more. But no, I didn't really think of it because I was like, I like to make plays.
Yeah.
I like to make a good pass, lock somebody up on defense. It wasn't just about scoring.
Yeah, and I remember, I think that year, I think it was kind of a disappointing year, being 17-12. You lose the first round of Southern Miss in the conference, lose to Gonzaga. It was kind of a disappointing season.
Most definitely for Cincinnati standard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
it was bad. I was like, damn, we suck. Like I thought because the year before they were with Steve Logan, top 10 in the country, all that type of stuff, and I'm thinking, that's just how it is year in and year out. But I don't think we had the personnel, to really compete, at the highest level.
So using that as a transition, coming into your sophomore year, some new guys come in.
Yeah.
Right. I believe Flight White comes in. Correct. Who else is there with you that year? Who else came in?
I think
Nick came in, right?
Nick came in.
Nick Williams.
Bobbitt was a year better.
Yes.
He had a good junior year or whatever, his first year there. So he was a year better. Bobbitt came off the bench. So, Bobbitt was the first guard off the bench.
Yes, he was the sixth.
He was a sixth man.
He told me he's the greatest sixth man in the history of basketball. Not college, not UC.
Basketball. Oh, okay.
Better than Lou Will.
Yeah.
He said he's the greatest.
Better than Crawford?
Oh, yeah. Better than Jamal Crawford. Like, he told me he's the greatest. Could you see him saying that?
Yeah, I can see him saying that.
I love TB, though.
Yeah. But, don't let me get to lying because I forgot about TB. He was there my freshman year. So he was the first guard off the bench. I was second.
Because he had the big game your freshman year versus Oregon.
Huge game.
Right?
Yeah.
They were like number 5 in the country.
Yeah, the Jimmy V Classic, I believe it was. And, he killed. He went for 30-something. He was the first guy off the bench, and I kind of came off after him. Then I was like I said, coach was like, okay, I could get him minutes at the 4. Yeah. So I played a lot at the 4. So
to your point, coming into your second year, your sophomore year, you're a year older. TB's now a senior. James White's there. Nick's there. You guys start off hot. You're 13-0.
Yeah.
You guys are rolling.
Yeah. Nah, we were a lot better. Obviously, we were older. The personnel was better with the additions of James, Nick Williams, and then, like I said, the guys, our core guys, Hicks, Maxill, on the inside were better. So we were just a better team, personnel-wise. And I think my sophomore year, I think Rob Whaley was there. Or was that my junior year?
Rob was only there 1 year.
That was
I think that was because
it was my sophomore year. It was my sophomore year. Whaley was there my sophomore year. Yeah.
Because is that the year you guys?
We lost to Illinois.
Yes, in the second round, you guys lost to Illinois.
Yes.
Yes.
So that was Rob's, and I know for a fact it was because of all the things that happened.
Yeah.
I've heard. He was there. But so he was another guy that was a big name,
sure.
JUCO
Big time
transfer
name.
Or whatever. So we had a lot more talent. Like I said, I don't care who's coaching, you got to have players.
Yeah.
So that second year, the personnel was better.
Yeah. So you guys go 13-0, and then you lose to Louisville, who's number 5 in the country. Got smacked by Louisville. Remember that?
Yeah.
What happened that game?
Man, my sophomore year, I think I was hurt that game. Not that I was the reason that we lost or anything, but I remember I sprained my MCL, and I think that might have been my first game back.
Okay.
Or was that my junior year? God, I can't remember. No, I think that was my junior year. No, it was my sophomore year. Yeah, so I got hurt in Tulsa a couple games before that, and I wasn't ready to go. I tried to play against Louisville, didn't really play that well. But yeah, they got us good at home, and then I think we beat them at our place.
In overtime.
That's
correct.
Okay.
And then if I remember correctly, and help me remember this, so they blew you guys out at their place, winning home in overtime, and then you had a good game against them in the conference, I believe.
Yeah.
Didn't you like hit the?
You hit the game-winning shot.
You hit the game-winning shot.
Yeah.
To beat them. Because you guys went on to win the conference championship that year. And you hit the game-winning shot. Talk us through that.
It was crazy because Coach, I think this was the first time that he called this play for me.
Okay.
And I don't know what made him call it. I don't know if one of the assistant coaches like, okay, we got this advantage, because I was pretty much running point the whole game. And I had probably 12, 13 points, about 8 assists. You know, I was playing well. And I remember Patino was like, stay in front of him, because I was just going by whoever and just kind of passing or trying to score or whatever. And probably 30 seconds left, 45 seconds, Coach ran a play for me to basically pass to the wing, down screen for Max to come up to like the high post area or something, and then turn and seal in the post. And he really didn't post me up that much. Like, literally, we didn't run that play the whole game. Probably haven't run it the whole season, but I knew the position, so I was like, okay. And I posted up Taekwon Dean. Max threw it into me in the post, and just, you know, turned a little fadeaway shot off the glass, and we go up 2, and then we got to get a stop. And so we get that last stop, and, you know, then, you know, win the conference tournament because of that.
Yeah. And one thing about you that I remember, and I want to know where you got this from or who you watched, if it was Pippen, but your ability to get to the mid-range and not only elevate, but that little fade, that little lean you had made it impossible to block.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, I always say this, there are 2 shots in basketball that were just became unstoppable. Obviously, Kareem Skyhook is maybe the most unstoppable move ever, and he was so close to the basket.
Yeah.
Then Jordan, when he went to the fadeaway,
the
fadeaway just became that. Just forget about it. You know, Jordan and Kobe and hit the fade. But you had that, man. You had that ability to find that gap to either get to that high pinch post, you know, just that spacing to find that and elevate and shoot that mid range, and it was just like money. Where did you get that from?
Like
Am
you
I
said,
right though?
You're right. I mean, it came from, my favorite player was T-Mac.
Okay.
So
there you go.
Yeah, it came from T-Mac, man.
Enough said.
It came from T-Mac, because he would face guys up in 6'9", like you said, just get to his spot and raise up. You know, I wasn't a huge Kobe fan growing up, but T-Mac was my guy.
Yeah, I remember. So a funny story, I posted on Facebook that you were coming in to do the podcast today, and there was a young man that played my AAU program, and he was a taller, thinner kid. And I told him when he was playing AAU for us, I said, you need to watch Armein Kirkland at UC. And he's like, who? I was like, Armein Kirkland. I was like, you need to watch how he gets to the, you know, high pinch post and finds his space. And he even posted this on my Facebook. He said you became his favorite player. He used to watch you all the time.
Oh,
like
wow.
He mimicked your game.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna show you the Facebook post. Chris Hall.
That's awesome.
He mimicked he played high school basketball and everything here. You were his favorite player. And I told him to watch you.
That's cool. That's cool.
So I got to make sure I give you your flowers on that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, all good. So like you said, and we'll kind of jump out of your sophomore year, but you guys lost to Illinois that year in the tournament. Who was on the Illinois team? I'm trying to remember.
Darren Williams.
Yes. They were tough.
Yeah.
And then Luther
Head, D. Brown.
They were tough.
Yeah. The following year, they went undefeated until the championship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their junior year. Yeah.
So, segue into your junior year, 2004 to 2005. Guys had a good season, 25-8, I believe. Now, Max is a senior that year.
Yes.
Right? Max, Hicks is a junior, you're a junior, obviously. You guys start off kind of like your sophomore year, hot, 11-0.
Yeah. We were playing really well. We beat LSU, who had Big Baby.
Oh yeah,
Big Baby was on
Davis.
the team. Yeah. And they had another guy that went to the league. I can't remember his name. He was like a 4-man, real high jumper. They had a solid team, but we beat them in Vegas for the semifinals, and then we played Illinois again in Vegas.
That's when they were number one.
They were number one,
and they beat you guys. Right?
Beat us by 20.
Yes.
15-20. They just played more efficient than we did, you know. They just made open shots. They just played better. Simple as that. And then we were kind of up and down a little bit. Our conference was tougher. Louisville was really good that year. I think they went to the Final Four that year. And so we had a decent season our junior year, but it wasn't to the standard that we would have hoped for.
And here's what surprised me that season about you guys. So when I look at a basketball season, right, I look at winning streaks.
Yeah.
Because if you look at a conference tournament or the NCAA, all that is a winning streak.
Yeah.
To get to the championship game, you're on a winning streak. So you try to find those winning streaks within the season. So your junior year, you guys start off 11-0, and you end the season 6-0. So the regular season. So now you've got these two bookends.
Yeah.
It's like streak. So that should kind of play into the conference tournament, which it didn't.
It didn't.
You guys lost South Florida.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I remember that game vividly because I was pissed off.
That was the first round.
First round. Yeah, I was mad, man. We went down there. It was in Memphis, where the Grizzlies play, if I'm not mistaken. And South Florida, first of all, they give them credit, hats off. They played hard as hell, you know. But I remember Hugs took me out the game like a minute and a half into the game. You know, I threw a pass to Max Seal. It went off his fingertips out of bounds or something. It was like a post play for Max. It went off his fingertips out of bounds. And next thing I know, like, I'm getting subbed out. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know for what, but I'm pissed. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, the game just started. Like, I haven't even got going yet, you know. And up until that point, I've been hooping. You know what I'm saying? Got conference player of the week, like the first or second week of conference. Like, I've been playing well. And like you said, we've been winning. So, like, we're 6-0 now. All of a sudden, you take me out the game. Like, so I'm mad. I had family drive from Texas to Memphis. And, like, honestly, I didn't even want to play the rest of the game. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, dude, you tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to win, and you taking me out the game for what? Like, if you think somebody else could do it better than me, then just lead them in the game.
Yeah.
And so I remember we're losing, and at halftime, Hugs is yelling at me, are you going to fucking play? Can I cuss?
Yeah, no, absolutely you can cuss.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you going to fucking play? And I'm like, man, you ain't letting me play. Like, what are you talking about? Am I going to fucking play? Now you want me to be the savior, you know, because we're down 15 to South Florida. And, you know, I remember Hicks like, come on, Kirk, man, just don't listen to him. Just do it for us, man. Just play for us. And I'm like, man, he tripping, man. Like, I don't even feel like playing for real. Like, he just killed my vibe, you know, mentally. And then we end up losing, as you know. And we go back to the hotel, and I remember Hugs is saying curfew's at 10 o'clock. We're leaving at 7 o'clock in the morning to drive back to Cincinnati, you know. And I'm like, all right. And like I said, I got family and friends there. So I wasn't hearing that shit, you know. And Suleiman was my roommate.
That's all you got to say there.
And so, you know, about 10:30, I start getting phone calls from Suleiman. Next thing, I don't answer his call. Next thing, and he leave me a message, oh, coach is looking for you. They came to the room. Like, you know, I ignored it. Next thing, you know, I'm getting private calls, calling my phone. Coach Kennedy's trying to call my phone. I don't answer for nobody because I'm like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just lost. I'm already mad. Like, I don't care. Whatever you want to do, you could do it, you know. And so the crazy thing, so I spent a night with this girl that came to watch me play or whatever. I was dating or whatever, and at their hotel room. And she brings me back to the hotel like 6:30. So like he said, we're getting on the bus at 7.
At 7?
Yeah, we're leaving at 7. So I'm just like, I just got to put my stuff in the bag.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So I probably should have came back earlier. But we pull up to the hotel.
Okay.
Hugs is sitting outside. like literally like on the little chairs right by the sliding doors. He's sitting there. And we pull up and I see his ass, and it's like, we can't like move out the way. So I just tell her, just keep driving. Don't stop. Just keep driving. And so and he probably saw me in the car, but I kind of ducked down a little bit, act like I didn't see him. I was just looking straight, and we drive right by his ass. But that's the only way to get in the hotel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was no back door and things. So
you're screwed.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck it, man. I'm just going to get out and walk. Walk. I just walked out, walked right past his ass, went, got my shit out there. He didn't say nothing to me. I ain't say nothing to him. And got on the bus, got my stuff, got on the bus. And I remember him saying, we got on the bus, if any of you motherfuckers were out past curfew last night, don't worry about playing in the NCAA tournament. You know, we'll see you guys next year. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, well, he ain't talking to me because if you're not gonna say my name, then I'm gonna assume that you don't know who was out. You know what I'm saying? So unless you say I'm guilty, then I'm gonna assume, whatever.
Yeah.
And so my mind's like, well, shit, come Monday's practice, if my shit's not in my locker, then I guess I'm not on the team. But if it's there, I'm gonna just practice like nothing happened.
Right.
And that's pretty much what happened. Nothing was missing. So I just put my clothes on, went to practice. He didn't say shit to me. You know what I'm saying? We're getting ready for Iowa in the first round. Only thing I remember him asking me was like, are you gonna fucking play? Are you gonna fucking play? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play, man. Like, just don't fuck with me. Like, yeah, I'm gonna play.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he asked me. He didn't say nothing about the curfew, none of that shit. He just kind of said the same shit he said against South Florida. You gonna play? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play. Just don't fuck with me, and I'll play. You know what I'm saying? Then, we beat Iowa, and then second round, which was huge, playing Kentucky.
We got to talk about that game.
Yeah. We had him at halftime, man. Rondo played really well.
Did he?
Chuck Hayes was killing in the post.
Yep.
Azubuike played okay. And we just couldn't score the ball. I mean,
So let's actually build up to that game.
Okay.
So obviously, Cincinnati, UK, that's obviously going to be a big game.
They never
People are
play
gonna
each
talk
other,
about it.
yeah.
Never play each other. And then the fact that you guys are playing in a football stadium.
It's crazy.
People don't understand. I've been to a Final Four before in Indianapolis, and I sat down really close one time. It is different.
It sounds different. It feels
Looks different.
Yeah. It's like I tell people, like, that game was the first time I ever played in a football arena. It was packed. It felt like you're in a Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
It was just weird.
Yeah.
It wasn't a basketball environment,
Yeah.
that you're used to.
Right.
And like you said, the build up, I remember I think they changed our game time or something like that, because they were like, they wanted to be a primetime game, the matchup. And so they kind of changed our game time so it could be more of a primetime game. I think Kmart was there. Nick Lachey came to the game, which I had never seen him before. I didn't know he was a fan.
Didn't he talk to you guys that game?
I think he
Was that the
did
game he
before or
talked to
after
you?
the game. Yeah.
I think I remember hearing that.
And,
That's right. Dermar was there too.
Yeah, Rube was there.
Dermar had a fur coat on or something. Yeah.
Blunt. I think Blunt came.
Yep.
So it was all the former Cincinnati greats were there. Fortunately, we couldn't pull it out. Like I said, we fought hard, and it was a close game. I think we ended up losing by 6 or 7. I can't remember, but they got us.
I ran into Rondo at an AU tournament.
Okay.
He was watching. I believe it was his nephew. So I'm in Louisville, and we're getting ready to. One of our Shining Star teams is getting ready to play, and all the kids are like, "Hey, Rondo's right there." So I see him, and I'm like, I'm not gonna bother him. I don't know him. I've never met him. So I'm leaving, and we're at the Expo Center in Louisville, and I'm leaving, and he comes out leaving, and he's got his family with him, I guess. And so I was like, let me say something to him real quick. And I kind of come over, and I said, hey, I tell him my name. I said, I played for the Bearcats. I said, but I played before you did when you guys played at Indy, or whatever. And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, I remember that game. And he was like, we were worried about you guys. And I said, really? He says, we were worried about the rebounding.
Yeah.
They were really worried rebounding. And I was thinking about that after he said that. Like, remember that big 7? What was the 7-3?
The African guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was huge, man. I remember, I think one time he just picked the ball up off the ground like this and just dunked it. Like, it was crazy. He didn't jump or nothing. He just, loose ball, he just picked it with one hand and just dunked it. Like, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of his better, games.
Yeah.
And they really, the way I took it from Rondo was they needed him, and obviously Chuck Hayes was a force. Chuck Hayes was a Bearcat type of guy.
He was.
You agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So they were worried about, he said they were worried about the rebounding and toughness, but that was a great game. I was there. I wish we would have pulled it off, but.
Yeah.
Would you say that year, was that one of the most memorable games for you?
Definitely, yeah, because of the environment.
Yeah.
40,000 people there is the most people we've had at a game, and being in a football stadium, it was
a lot of people at a basketball game.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, it was crazy. So, it was definitely one of the better games that we played in. I didn't play as well as I would have liked to, but I think I did my job defensively. Azubuike was kind of my assignment, so I did a good job with him, but yeah, it was really, I think Chuck Hayes had a big game. One of them, him or Morris, one of them had like 20-something points, you know, so they kind of did their thing, and Rondo had played well. But, yeah, we just couldn't get enough buckets down the stretch.
Yeah. So now that this season's over, your junior year, and I'm sure you, like many other guys, you're thinking about, you know, the next year, especially being a senior. You're like, man, I got to go out with a bang.
Yeah.
And then you find out Hugs got fired.
Yeah.
Where were you, and how did you find out?
I was coming out of class, summer school class. Yeah. And a reporter came up to me and asked me, how do I feel about it? And I didn't know what to say because I didn't know. You know, I was just coming out of class. They were like, how do
What'd you hit him with?
I was like, I don't know anything about that. You know what I'm saying? They were like, yeah, you know, Hugs got released or whatever they said, however they put it. And I didn't know what to say. I was like, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm just hearing this from you. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of, you know, walked to class. And then, you know, I guess Coach Kennedy told us, but we never even had a formal meeting after that with Hugs. Like, I don't know if they told him hey, you got to pack your shit and get off campus now or what, but it wasn't like, you know, we had a formal meeting with Kennedy. Yeah, I remember Kennedy was like, yeah, he's going to be all right. They gave him $3 million to leave. So I think, you know, I think he'll be all right. You ain't got to worry about him, you know, but, you know, we got a job to do. And that was kind of how I found out through some reporters, and then obviously found out it was true. I don't know what the deal was. Him and the president supposedly didn't get along or whatever, but, you know, I really didn't.
Yeah, a lot of drama. There was a lot of layers
a lot
to
of
that.
politics, which I didn't care to investigate. It didn't matter. It's like, whatever I say is not going to change anything anyway.
Yeah.
I'm here to play basketball, and so
was your mentality that, you know, hey, I'm riding this out, AK's the coach, I'm good, or were you thinking about leaving?
No, I never thought about leaving, you know, because like you said, AK was my guy anyway.
He recruited you.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about just, you know, finishing, getting my degree, and, you know, going to the next level. Like, you know, it wasn't going to change anything going to a different school. Like, for what?
Right.
That's not going to make my individual basketball game better. I'm still going to be the same player, just at a different school. Yeah. And I felt like the player I am good enough to play in the league, so I could do it here. I could do another school. I'm not going to pack up and leave for 1 year. It didn't make sense. So that wasn't even a consideration.
And the other thing too with Hugs getting fired was we, and I say we because I feel part of this, were taking that next step, going from Conference USA to the Big East. Yeah. Which, Armein, was a huge step. There were many people that were part of, you know, making that happen. You know, many players of the past, the Kenyon Martins and those guys, and Hugs was a big part of that. And to see Hugs not be able to, you know, be a part of that, but it is what it is. What was your feeling about going from Conference USA to, at that time, the best conference in basketball?
I think it's the best conference that was ever created, like for that couple of years, because you had, like you said, the Big East and what it was, and you had Cincinnati, Louisville, and Marquette.
Yep,
just those three,
right?
Powerhouses,
no question.
You know, along with DePaul and whoever else joined, but. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's another conference ever that's been that good with that many loaded teams. So for me, I was excited, man. Yeah, finally playing some different schools. You know, instead of just going down to East Carolina or whatever, Southern Miss, like, you know, you're gonna beat them.
I couldn't stand going to Southern Miss, man.
Yeah. So it's like now instead of Southern Miss, it's Syracuse.
And Tulane, and
and instead of, you know, TCU, it's Pittsburgh. Yeah, you know, and unfortunately, you know, I was having a hard time. I wasn't shooting the ball well my senior year. So that at the beginning of the first half of the senior, I wasn't shooting the ball well. I was averaging like 10, 11 points, but wasn't shooting it well until conference started. And then I felt like, you know, I finally got my rhythm, comfortable with what Coach AK was trying to do as far as our offense and everything. And I had a good game against Marquette. At Marquette, we were down 7 points at halftime. I think I had like 14 and locked up Novak, Steve Novak, who just hit UConn for 41 the game before, and I locked him up. We were playing man. He had like 2 points. You know, for some reason AK goes to zone, and so now I'm not guarding him. We're playing 2-3 zone. He gets open for 3 threes, and so now he has like 9 points, like in a matter of 4 or 5 minutes. And I'm pissed off because I'm like, that's my assignment. Like, I'm locking his ass up. And we go to zone. Yeah. And I remember yelling at AK. And AK's like, I'm the fucking coach. You know what I'm saying? You don't tell me what to do. I'm like, man, let's get out this fucking zone. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm the coach. And then he called, but he ended up letting us go back man. And like I said, I locked him up. And, you know, we won that game. And then the very next game, we go to UConn.
Well, let me stop you real quick because I want to build up to the UConn game. You guys had been on a 10-game winning streak.
Oh, it was 10 games?
10 game going into that UConn. And you're playing, you know, arguably some of your best basketball of your career.
Yeah.
Agree with that?
Yeah.
And then, so the big number 4 team in the country, you guys are playing UConn. Rudy Gay, right? That was Rudy Gay was there. You score what? 14 of the first 18 points.
Yep.
You're playing like the highest level.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, and I remember telling James White before the game, like I've been playing well, and I'm finally like, okay, now you're playing like you're capable. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know, it was kind of one of those things. Like in the first half of the season, I was in a slump, and it was kind of fucking with me mentally. Like, damn, why am I missing these shots? You know what I'm saying? I'm killing in practice every day, but in the game, so it started fucking with me mentally a little bit. And I got over that mental part of it, and started playing well. And I remember telling James before the game, because like you said, they had Rudy Gay, Josh Boone, Hilton Armstrong, Marcus Williams, 4 first-round picks, all on one team. And I told James, I'm getting $1 million tonight. Like, I'm getting paid tonight. Yeah. Like, I'm going to the league tonight because I knew every scout was there or whatever. And like you said, I came out just busting their ass, you know, busting Rudy Gay's ass, and I had 14 of our 18 points. About to score 16 points and go up for a layup, and my knee just buckles, you know, tear my ACL. I felt a pop, and I just kind of limped off, hopped off to the sideline, and Fluker was there, Dave Fluker, our trainer, was there and was looking at me, and I just knew that this wasn't like when I sprained my MCL before. This was worse because I felt a pop, and it felt so funny, and I just knew it was bad. But I didn't know how bad. And then at halftime, I went to the locker room, and the team doctor for their team came and evaluated me along with Fluker, and he was like, "Man, I'm pretty sure you tore your ACL," you know. And it just hurt, man. I'm in there crying. You know, the team is looking at me like, "Man, he can't play," you know. And I was just hurt. I just knew my season was over with. My college career was over with. You know, at that point.
That was it.
And so, you know, from then on, it was just like about rehabbing and getting better. And the crazy part about it is that game was on Big Monday. Sunday was the NFL playoffs. And if you remember, the day before, Carson Palmer tore his ACL.
Oh, wow.
So it was like I was watching the game. We were already in UConn. I'm watching the game. I'm like, damn, he tore his ACL on a pass. I think he threw like a long ass pass and got hit, tore his ACL. And Bengals end up losing, you know, and they had a good team, Ocho and all those guys. And the very next day, I tear my ACL, you know. And it was just like, man, I just saw somebody from Cincinnati, you know, the Bengals do it, now I did it. And it was tough, man. Yeah.
And the thing about it, too, is so I remember you're dribbling up the court, right up the middle. You kind of make your move, and you're going up for your shot. When you initially did it, I thought, and I believe the guy who was doing the TV thought it was your ankle.
Yeah.
I thought it was your ankle because, you know, kind of the way. But then, and this is the other reason I thought it was your ankle, because you kept going down court. Like, you went down to play defense.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, he just hurt his ankle, whatever. But then I knew you were hurt when you went to the bench and you were hitting the bench.
Yeah.
And Fluke's just like, he just got this look. And I'm like, okay, he's hurt way worse than, you know, than an ankle. And then they showed it again, and then you could see your knee just like, you know, doing the little twist thing. Yeah.
And like you said, I mean, I've always prided myself in like being tough. Not to say that, you know, guys that fall down and cry for 10 minutes aren't tough, but, you know, I get on to my players about that. Yeah. I'm like, you know, I tore my ACL and I didn't even fall to the ground. I just kind of limped as best as I could.
You ran back on defense.
Yeah, I tried to, you know what I'm saying, until a timeout or we fouled somebody or something and I got off the court. But I see guys that, like, you know, get poked in the eye or something. They're on the ground for 10 minutes. And I'm like, dude, like, I didn't even fall down. I wanted to keep playing. Like, if you're going to fall down and do all this, you better be, like, almost dead.
Right.
But you definitely can't play the rest of this game.
Right.
Because you're that hurt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you fall down for 10 minutes and you get up and you keep playing, like, come on, man. I hate that.
Yeah.
But, you know, because it's just, I don't know. It's kind of mentally weak to me. It's just kind of weak. Not to say, but, you know, I don't know everybody's pain tolerance.
Yeah.
So I kind of give them a pass. But that's one thing I do hate is when guys fall on the ground and just act like they're hurt and then they keep playing.
Yeah.
It's like you could have got up like 2 minutes ago.
Right,
You're not that hurt.
We see some guys in the NBA do that.
They do it all the time.
They do it,
and it bothers me.
Right.
It bothers me.
Right.
You know, I hate that.
And like you said, you kept playing that, or you ran back, and then fluke brought you to the bench. And much like, and we've seen this before with Bearcat basketball, and I'm sure you've seen when Kenyon Martin went down and he got hurt, and you get hurt playing your best basketball of your career at the time. Mentally, what was that like for you, knowing? I mean, you knew your senior year was finished.
Yeah.
So what was that like mentally for you?
It was tough, man. You know, I was questioning God, like, why this happened to me.
Yeah.
You know, to that day, you know, I've been at UC for 4 years. We haven't had one guy tear ACL. You know, most guys don't. The most they did was sprain an ankle.
Yeah.
You know, so we have nobody have a major injury, and then I'm the first one. You know, and like you said, I do it on national TV.
Yep.
And I'm killing Rudy Gay's ass.
Yep.
Got 14 of our 18 points.
Yep.
Like, just putting in work, and that happens with every scout in the league there. You know, so I'm like, why? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, now that I'm past it, I'm like, that was just God's plan.
Yep.
You know, if God wanted me to play in the NBA and take that path, I wouldn't have never got hurt. I would have finished that game, and my stock would have rose. Whatever would have happened was supposed to happen, but that was my plan.
Yep.
You know, that wasn't God's plan. So that's the way I looked at it, and I just had to go to plan B. But initially it was like, okay, I got to just rehab, take this rehab serious and try to get back in the league and just deal with this injury and try to make my way back up, you know. And obviously that didn't happen because after I got released to start playing, I went to the D League, and first week of training camp tore my other ACL.
Oh, man.
So that's when I knew. I was like, okay, God really don't want me to play. Like, because I tried to tell myself it's just coincidence. You know, I'll work hard to get back in shape and work my way up. And then the second one happened, you know. And so it was like, nah, let me just, you know, start thinking about something else, you know. So that's kind of how, you know, UC career ended. We ended up going to the NIT for the first year that year, because after I got hurt, we went from 13-2 till we ended up, I don't know what we ended up my senior year.
21-13.
21-13, yeah. So we went 8 and what's that, 11? The last couple games or whatever. Yeah. So we were 13-2, and then we won 8 of our last 19 games or whatever. Crazy game that I watched was Syracuse at the Garden for the Big East tournament, our first Big East tournament. McNamara, I think, hit like crazy 3 or something to beat us at the buzzer. Something crazy happened. I can't even remember, but yeah. So I just had to watch, man. Just you know, try to be a assistant coach for the rest of that year.
Yep. And then the NIT game.
Yeah.
Which was another whole.
Nobody wanted to be there.
Yeah. That was
Yeah, it was just like we were disappointed. I think the morale was down. Yeah. You know, everybody's just like, let's just get this season over with, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, you know, you, like many other very good college basketball players, you know, you go overseas and you, like most guys, you become a journeyman overseas. I mean, you played in all kind of places. Yeah. We only played for 3 years, but I played in Dubai my first year, which I was blessed to go there. You know, after I came back from that second ACL tear, in Singapore, in Hungary. I went to 2 different places in Hungary, and then my knees were just hurting so bad after both ACL tears and other problems, meniscus tears. So I just I called my agent. I got to come home, man. I'm out. Yeah, I mean, luckily for me, I was smart financially. I saved every penny that I made for those 3 years. So, you know, that's tax-free money over there, correct? Tax-free, yeah. I was getting on the plane with, you know, stacks. So, I just saved it, man. And so when I came back, it was a easier transition. I'd already got my degree. Yeah. So I was able to, you know, transition into
the real world is what we call it. So yeah.
You know, you said something earlier. I mean, we all have our own journey. You know, it may not go the way we want it to go at the time or work out perfectly, but we always end up in a place and we find our purpose too.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like you found your purpose and definitely helping that next generation of kids. And you've got a lot of what I call hand-me-down knowledge to pass on to the young people, being that you've been through.
Yeah, and that's what I try to tell them. And then on top of that, my main thing is like, you know, they say they got this ball is life thing.
Yeah, right.
For me, I like to tell them like that's not true.
Yeah.
You know, ball is not life. You know, not even close. You know, so just be prepared and try to prepare yourself to do other things besides ball.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it sounds good, ball is life. You know, it's a good little quote or whatever, but that's not the truth. Because even if you're good, things can happen.
And I think we've got some great players right now, especially because the way I always look at it, like the NBA sets the standard. Like everybody looks to that, and then it trickles down to the college level and the high school level. But I think we've got some guys at the NBA level that I think are doing some great things. Like you look at a Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Right. And what he's doing with, you know, he's got this nutrition thing going on with plant-based stuff, trying to get people to eat, you know, healthy. I think his work with HBCUs. Yeah. I think he's trying to do a health plan with the HBCUs with the food and LeBron. I mean, LeBron's been
man, got a school.
I mean, right? Just those things of outside of basketball, but using your platform to set up something else, right? And having I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like LeBron's trying to position himself to own a team one day.
Definitely.
You feel like that way?
Yeah.
I just feel, and that's smart. Like,
yeah, he's looking at Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the next up. So yeah, he wants to follow in Jordan's footsteps, I think, you know. And I mean, not that he wants to be Jordan, but he's just, I mean, why would you not want to emulate somebody doing great things?
Yeah, no question.
Doesn't mean you want to be them. It's just, I want to do good things too.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's lifelong Nike deal. He's tied in forever. So once he stops playing, they're going to be making retros, you know, all that type of stuff. And, you know.
Generational wealth right there.
Yeah. So we definitely have a lot of good athletes that don't get the credit that, like you say, that they probably should. Even Westbrook, you know, they're hating on him, but he does a lot of good things for the community. Yeah. You know, still in Oklahoma, and he's not even there anymore. So, a lot of guys, there's a lot of good guys out there doing good things.
A lot of guys that I think young people can look at, and you can use as an example to your kids, saying, okay, it's great to focus in on basketball, but while you're doing that, think about this. Yeah. Because LeBron did, CP did. You know, on and on and on. And so they'll listen to that. Yeah. They'll hear that, right? Because they see it. Yeah. You know, so I do want to use that as a segue. And I look at Bearcat basketball during that Hugs era, right? I've said this, and I'm on record of saying this on a national level. I've said this on Kevin Durant has the boardroom. And I was interviewed for the Jordan article they did, and I was talking to the Ian Stoneberg, who was doing an article, and I said, Ian, like, I know this may seem crazy, but follow me on this. I said, I don't think any program in college basketball for that length of time had as much swag as Bearcat basketball. Yeah. And go, what about Michigan? Man, Michigan's was huge. Yeah, but it had that pocket. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I said, you know, North Carolina's up there. Obviously, they've had a lot. But, man, I'm like, the Bearcat swag between, you look at the Final Four group with Nick Van Exel, just how he carried himself, you know, all the way to Kenyon. And you look at all these Bearcats along the way, just so many – and I mean this in a nice way, but so many characters. Yeah. Almost like cartoon characters that were just so, you know, polarizing. Yeah. I don't think any college basketball program captured that for that amount of time. You agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with it. You know, I think I put Carolina up there.
Yeah, that's the one school I will like.
Yeah. But no, Cincinnati, I mean, especially like you said, looking at the history from early C. Blunt era days until, you know, Hug's departure. And
if you go back and you go look at Google Images, and I'm saying all that to say this about you, you had a tough shoe game when you played.
Yeah.
You had a tough shoe game, and I pride myself on having a tough shoe game. You wore some stuff.
I did, but I also wanted to be comfortable, you know, and you know, if it wasn't comfortable, I didn't want to wear it. But you know, we were just blessed, man. I mean, because of guys like you and before that put us in a position that we could wear Jordans, man, for free.
Yeah,
like we'd get them out before anybody else. I mean, you can't beat that.
Can't beat that. And I'm gonna tell you, you guys had something that we were jealous of. My group. You guys had the red unis. We didn't.
Oh, y'all didn't have red uniforms?
You guys were the first one to get the red unis.
Oh, okay.
We didn't like that.
Oh, man.
We were like,
yeah, those red was fresh.
The red?
Yeah, the red's fresh. Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and that was the last year, man. So I got the only Jordan Big East jersey because it was just 1 year of Jordan and Big East because the following year they went to Adidas.
That's right. So... yeah, that was, you were with Brandon Miller. He was the walk-on, right?
Yeah. Wall, yeah.
That's right. That was that.
Yeah, we got the only Jordan Big East uniform.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Man, love that. So I want to do two more things before we finish up. We're going to do quick questions, quick answers.
Okay.
And then I want to talk a little bit about this current Bearcat basketball program, Wes Miller, and what's going on over there. So quick question, quick answers real quick. So I've been asking a lot of former players this question. We were doing our live podcast at Mio's, and I started doing this, and I was actually fascinated to hear some people answered this the way I didn't think they were going to answer.
Okay.
So my question is this, Armein. Would you rather be MJ or MJ? Here's what I mean.
Okay.
Would you rather be Michael Jordan in his prime basketball career, biggest global sports star in the world, or Michael Jackson, the biggest pop culture icon? He's having concerts and grown men with 401ks are passing out, being carried out of his concerts. I mean, you can say Michael Jackson was one of the most well-known people in the world. Would you rather be Michael Jordan in his prime or Michael Jackson in his prime? MJ or MJ?
Michael Jackson.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't think you'd say that. Why?
Because what he does is like an individual sport. You don't have to depend on other people to be great. And Michael Jordan has to depend on other people to be great. And they don't get enough credit. And so for me, it's like I tell just being an asshole. When I was younger, like I didn't have that great of teammates. I used to say, man, I wish I could pass to myself. Because it was just the asshole me. Man, I wish
sounds like something Kobe would say, though.
You know what's crazy? When Tony met Kobe, he came back. You know, Tony
Bobbitt,
was with the
Kobe.
Lakers.
Yeah.
He came back to Cincinnati. He was like, man, I told Kobe, you remind me of Kobe. He was like, man.
Really?
He told me that. He was like, you act like Kobe. You know what I'm saying? But because I was an asshole to my teammate, I would talk shit like that. Like, I'm better than you guys, whatever, but I wish I could pass myself. I told Hicks one time, like, if you get it, man, if you get it, just call timeout. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the ball ends up in your hand, just call timeout. But
I'm sure that didn't go over well with him.
No, he wanted to fight, but I was being serious. I was like, we got to win the game, so if you end up with it, just call timeout.
Yeah,
you know.
That did.
But nah, because I'd rather just be on my own.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the team thing, but you got to depend on them.
So you don't need the Jackson 5. You don't need Tito and
MJ in his prime didn't have all them. He was solo.
That's what I'm saying. You want solo, glitter glove.
Yeah.
The jacket.
By myself, yeah. Because I know I could be great every night because I'm controlling everything. Okay. It's just me.
Okay.
I don't have to worry about this guy making a shot or, you know, this guy playing defense or whatever the case may be, you know, because you got to think, like, Michael Jackson, from when he began to the end, he basically essentially won a championship every year. Jordan didn't even make the playoffs some years. That's the equivalent of like Michael Jackson, like nobody liking his music. That never happened. He was basically a champion every year.
Okay. All right.
So I would rather have that individual
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fascinating. That's become one of my favorite questions because people always hit me with something I didn't expect, and I did not expect that.
Yeah.
Second question. Favorite Jordan sneaker of all time?
Last Shot. 14s.
Okay.
Last Shot, man. I loved it. I got every color of the 14s. I'm not a big Jordan guy because I don't have all the shoes like my boy Jamal Lucas. Shout out, but and yourself. But
now J-Mo has a lot of.
Yeah.
He should.
Yeah.
Working for Jordan.
Yeah, but the 14s. Yeah. Black and red 14s. Yeah.
Classics. Do you have a hidden talent no one knows about? Bearcat fans.
Oh man. Nah, I don't.
Oh, come on, man. You got to give me something.
I don't have a hidden talent, man.
So I asked this question to Herb Jones, who passed away. R.I.P. Herb, one of our greats, our legend.
Definitely.
I asked him that question, and some Bearcat fans know this, but he was a, pro-level fisher.
Oh, wow. No, I remember you used to talk about that, yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to get on, the pro circuit for fishing. I was like, Herb, when you turn on ESPN and nobody watches the show where people fishing, you want to be on that? He goes, yeah, that's my goal. He's like, I'm a good fisher. I was like, man, I didn't know that. You don't have, sing, play an instrument, can cook.
Nope.
I was expecting something. I was expecting you to hit me with something like you could build a computer or
Nah, man. I don't think I don't have no hidden talent because if I did, I'd probably be trying to get paid off of it, man. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be hidden. I'd be using it.
Right,
you know,
using it. Gotcha. All right, my fourth and final question is: during your time in your 4 years playing with the Bearcats, if you could pick one teammate that you played with, and you would take that teammate, and you had to go to battle, okay? It could be any battle. It could be basketball. It could be ping pong. Doesn't matter what it is. You know going into that battle, you guys are going to win. What teammate do you take?
Ooh, that's tough.
You can only pick one.
Man. I know we're going to win. Oh, man. Probably Max Hill.
Max. That's a good answer.
Yeah, probably Max Hill because he played hard all the time. So
Yeah.
I know he's going to at least play hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. He might not be good at ping pong, but he's going to play hard.
With those long arms, you two, that's going to be a tough, good old Max. Let's talk about this current Bearcat basketball team. Now, you came back for homecoming this year for football, and you stopped into practice.
Yeah.
You've had a chance to talk to Wes Miller, obviously on several occasions, dinner. What are your thoughts on Wes Miller and what he's doing?
I liked it, man. When I was at practice, I thought he was engaged with the players. I thought he had a good rapport with the guys. I liked the way that, he set up practice and the flow of it. I got to see the game versus SMU the other night, last week before the tournament, the last conference game. And the team played really well. Unfortunately, they ended up losing at the end, couldn't make enough plays. But I think, he's doing a great job. I think, honestly, we got to get a different caliber personnel, just like I was talking about my freshman year. We didn't have the personnel. And there's only so much. I don't care if, Phil Jackson was coaching the team.
Right.
It wouldn't make a difference if you don't have guys that are at a higher level if you're trying to compete at that high level. So I think, if he gets on the horn and starts, hitting the ground and getting some of these top recruits in, I think with his coaching ability and him having players, then UC is going to be back successful soon. But, you can't just do it just being a good coach.
Yeah.
You got to have players. So if he could get the personnel, I could see UC just turning this thing around and being like the football team.
Yeah. And I think, too, if you look at, like you said, the football team, so let's look at their formula for success. I think Luke Fickell, one of the great things that he's done, and I think Hugs in many ways did this, is you find players that fit your culture and what you're trying to build.
Yeah.
You don't, I'm looking at Twitter, and a lot of folks, Bearcat fans, were talking about, Wes getting in 4-star, 5 stars, and that's great. That's all fine and dandy. but you've got to have the right fit. Because if you go back, you look at it, look at a Steve Logan, look at a Kenyon Martin, look at a Gary Clark. They weren't 4 and 5 stars.
Yeah.
But they fit exactly what Hugs was looking for in Mick Cronin. And Kenyon's jersey's in the rafter.
Yeah.
Steve Logan, All-American. Gary Clark, one of the greats to wear the, so it's finding that fit, for your culture. And then once you get that talent, case in point, Kenyon Martin didn't come in a star. Yeah. He developed. Yeah. You've got to be able to develop that talent.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he will. I like him. He seems like a good coach. I think he's going to be good for UC. He seems like he has a rapport with the players. Like I said, I'm not around that much.
You're spot on.
Yeah,
your spotter senses are right.
Yeah, and so I'm happy for the program. I think he'll do good things.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. We got to get you back next season for a game. I know you were trying to make a game this season, but it just didn't pan out. But love to get you back. Love to get you at Mio's so you can kind of engage with some Bearcat fans as well.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. I'll schedule it. Like I said, I'm up here for my son all the time, so I'll schedule it one game, and then I'll take him to the game, and we'll sit down and do that.
Yeah. Now, are you going to come with the fro, or are you going to come with the braids? Is that game time decision?
It's probably game time decision.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll just see how it goes, man.
That fro's tough, though, man.
Yeah.
I got to – well, I'm bald, right? So the fro – when I first saw you, what I was like – because when I saw you homecoming, I've seen the Instagram pictures.
And that was like half the fro. So it's even better now. That was 2 or 3 months ago.
It was tough, though, because we met up that – homecoming weekend.
Yeah, we went out to that little
bar.
Yeah,
and I went down to that. There was that lower level where there was a DJ, and I saw you down, and the fro was like glowing in the
lights,
like club lights. Right? I was like, I like the fro. So you got. I think the fans, because there's like a. I don't mean to keep talking about your fro, but there's like an attachment with fro and hoop.
Yeah.
Because like you think about like the.
Dr. J's.
Dr.
J's of the world. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's just like this. So you look at the Bearcats just wore the throwback jersey.
Okay.
The Cats. Did you see those?
I didn't.
So they wore, and I'll show you pictures of it from.
I need one of those shirts, by the way. Now I'm glad you said that. One of the Cincy shirts you made.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like those.
I got you. What size you wear?
Large, tall.
Large, tall. Large, tall.
So you got to get large, tall. Tell your guy to send you
Bet.
large, tall and print it on that so it fits me right.
Bet.
Yeah.
We'll get you taken care of for sure.
Cool.
But you think about the time like when the old Bearcats wore the Cats jersey. If you look at like the team photos, everybody had the fro, man.
Yeah.
There used to be this guy named Lloyd Batts that played for the Bearcats. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No.
Man, his fro was tough. It had like your fro, like you had it like trimmed, and it's got like, it's got some structure to it.
That's the funny thing. It's funny you say that. Go ahead, finish, and I'll
his had like his was just doing whatever it wanted to do.
Yeah.
It's like I'm getting ready to interview Kenyon here soon.
Cool.
And Kenyon and I were scheduled. We were going to do one, and then the football team took off, and I'm like, Ken, man, they got all the steam right now. Let's actually wait till the off season when people are kind of chill, because a lot of people are going to want to hear his story. And, I think the timing was right when you hit me like, hey, I'm coming to town. I'm like, man, the season's over, so we got to definitely do it. So
cool, yeah, we will.
And people love that generation of players. From when you played. Just absolutely fascinated with that group, just because you look at the Reds and the Bengals were down, not great.
Yeah.
I know the Carson Palmer and Ocho, they were decent, but and people look to Cincinnati basketball for their enjoyment and their entertainment.
Definitely. We were like the NBA team of the city back then.
No, quite. I've never heard it said like that, but definitely. I'd agree with that. Yeah. Well, appreciate you coming in, my brother.
Definitely.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
Really good, man.
Definitely. We'll do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to our sponsor, Healthcare Management Group, the College of Arts and Sciences. And I appreciate everyone listening to another episode of the Bearcat Basketball Podcast. Go Bearcats.